Hello, and welcome to the panel, where we take a look at graphic novels and talk about their story, art, and everything in between. The Magic Order is a group charged with keeping magic and magical creatures hidden from the everyday world. Led by the Moonstone family, a long line of talented magicians, they guard a book filled with the most powerful spells. But when powerful wizards start dying, are they ready to find out what's going on? Let's find out ourselves on this episode of The Panel. And joining me today from DST Unboxed and Previews World Toy Chest, host Natasha, aka Cannondoll X.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
Of course. And we also have my self-dubbed Queen of Free Comic Book Day, Ashton Greenwood.
Hey, howdy, hey.
I love that we're all wearing really festive. Like, this is not on purpose, y'all. Like, we just popped on and realized we're all wearing very festive sweaters. So yeah, this is fun. What are y'all doing for the holidays? Anything?
Well, Thursday's my birthday.
Oh my God.
Happy early birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll be 45 on Thursday. And then Sunday, I am doing a little birthday thing at an arcade.
Ooh,
as
nice.
You know, one nerd would do. And then we're doing Christmas Eve at my sister-in-law's, and then Christmas morning is at our house. So.
Oh, that sounds like fun. And you're not 45. I don't believe you. I do not believe you.
Drink a lot of water.
What about you, Ashton? What are you doing?
I'll do Christmas Eve, two-part Christmas Eve in the afternoon at my boyfriend's father's house, and then the evening we'll go over to my grandmother's house, and then Christmas Day will be at my house.
Oh, you're just hopping all over the place.
Oh, a lot of stuff.
Well, before we get into the holidays, let's go ahead and get into reading the Magic Order. And before we start diving into the Magic Order, let me give everyone a quick idea of the plot. The Magic Order is a group of 5 families of wizards, and members of the orders are allowed to live amongst the rest of society while secretly using their magic to protect the world from supernatural and magical threats. The story focuses on the Moonstones, one of the families of the Magic Order. The assassination of one of their magicians, Eddie Lewowski, alerts the Order, whose members then deduce that an unknown enemy is intent on picking them off one by one. All right, so going into this, what were your initial thoughts when Johnny put this before us? And we'll start with Ashton.
So I know that Mark Millar is very, very beloved, but the word magic was concerning to me because I'm not a big fantasy reader. It's just not one of my preferred genres. So I was like, I hope I have a nice time with this because, you know, I was nervous, but it was a fun read. It was definitely an enjoyable story. I can see why it's so popular.
I like that we have a skeptic on here. All right. And what about you, Miss Cannondoll X?
Well, I knew nothing about this book, but the title definitely grabbed me. I like fantasy. I like magical stuff. I like all of those things. And I was curious to see how this storyline would go because there is so many, bubblegum pop kind of magic stuff out there, and this is definitely not one of those things. This is definitely not for kids. This is definitely not for teenagers. This is definitely for adults, and definitely for adults who like more kind of noir kind of vibe. So I definitely enjoyed it. I'm happy for the recommendation, and glad I got to read it, and want to get on to the next one too.
Nice. Yeah. This is definitely not for kids.
Definitely not.
and we're going to get into why. So give us just a moment and we're going to start getting onto the story. it's hard to condense Mark Millar's like biography into one paragraph, but I tried. He's a Scottish comic book writer known for his work on The Authority, as well as other flagship titles for Marvel and the successful Civil War storyline. He's also written best-selling graphic novels such as Jupiter's Legacy, Kick-Ass, Kingsman, and Wanted. He's also a registered builder and has appeared on TV shows like Dream Kitchens and Bathrooms with Mark Millar and DIY SOS The Big Build, which was something I had no idea that was something he did. I like how he did all these like crazy comics and then all of a sudden he's like, we're gonna flip a house.
How can I watch it? I need to know where I can.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
All right, that has to go on the playlist. All right. What do you guys think of this idea of the Magic Order? Like Mark Millar described it as The Sopranos meets Harry Potter. So do you think that's kind of an accurate description, Natasha?
I was thinking more like The Sopranos meets Now You See Me.
Like
it's a little, but with real magic, not just sleight of hand. Like, here's the card thing. My blurred out thing totally threw that off. I'm like, ta-da! There's a grinder. But that was more the vibe that I got, because it's definitely it's more gritty. It's more. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of layers. Not just to the order, but the storyline itself, which is really great. And so I feel like, it definitely the Sopranos, because you've got all these obviously groups and families and parts moving to make the story go on. But the Now You See Me vibe of a lot of who's on what side kind of thing too. So that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when I think Harry Potter, I think much more like high magic and high fantasy. And I don't think that's what this was. I think Now You See Me is a perfect comparison, because it is more of like the kind of I felt more magician, less wizard reading this, so I think that's accurate. And then Now You See Me also kind of deals with like the politics of like who gets to have magic, who gets to have power, who gets to have money, all of that stuff. And I feel like they kind of dealt with that same topic here.
And Now You See Me, it was like, they're a family kind of different like magicians. But in this one, like we've got one family. It's the Moonstone family. What did you think of this like family dynamic with like all the kids with different personalities?
I mean, different personalities, I feel like is putting it mildly. Like different a lot of things with this family. A lot different perspectives, a different origin story, for example, for some of them, to put it the most G-rated version I could say, definitely the dynamic, the family dynamic is definitely very interesting.
You know what's interesting? I immediately, and maybe it's just because this book is still kind of top of mind, but I immediately from Cordelia and Reagan got the same vibes as Halloween and Samhain from Dark Ride.
Yes, I thought that too. Yeah, I totally thought that too.
Like he's very much the one trying to steer the ship, and she's just like along for the ride, like doing whatever.
Let's set things on fire.
Right.
Including myself.
Right, literally.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that they also had was like this instance of like just random magic that like I never even thought was something that was possible. Like we have people getting sucked into books and kind of, was there like a moment that you were like, oh God, I never thought like you could do that to someone?
Man, the Time Eater was trippy. I like, man, when he showed up, the little girl Molly like quickly aged and then died. That was like, I was trying to think through that in real time, and I was like, that's so that came out of
horrifying.
Mind, right?
That is horrifying. Absolutely.
What about you, Natasha?
For me, it was, I'm trying to look up to make sure I call it the right thing. But it's where, like, he goes into the room and he's trying to help the dying woman, and then all of a sudden notice that things are slowly folding and changing, and
Oh,
if
yeah.
they don't hurry up and get out, they're going to be just sucked into nothing, and then someone else is going to fill that space and think they lived there the whole time. Like
Yeah,
that
trippy.
that stressed me out. Like, just reading that whole section, I was like, hurry up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop explaining. Just go. I'm
Because
sorry,
that's like
old lady.
gone.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, no,
panic. That was, I mean, like, this part, I know you showed the other piece, but like, really pay attention to like the folding. Sorry, maybe it's not gonna work.
Your boring bit is.
Okay. Well, you could just see the bottom of her bed is just turning into cubes and then changing.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it goes to all that scene, and that's terrifying. Like the aging
get, like,
thing,
blipped.
and then like getting sucked into non-existing. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that one's depressing.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the fact that it just ages. Oh, God. Anyways, that was horrifying.
yeah.
But like one of the worst I feel was like putting someone into a book and it's like, okay, well, here you go. You get to like live in this world and have fun. And I'm just like, oh God, what would be like the worst book to get thrown into? Like
so many.
I think anything having to do with spiders, like giant, like
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even see you got Lord of the Rings. I'm
So I
not
was
doing
gonna
Lord of the
say,
Rings.
stay out of Lord of the Rings.
any war book, like real or
Oh, yeah.
war.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's horrifying.
Now
Lord
I'm
of
really
the
thinking about
Flies.
it.
Said in our
I
private.
was thinking Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies, terrifying. Hate, immediate
Yes.
no-go.
Imagine you're an
Yeah.
adult in that situation with all these chaotic kids who are no problem killing you.
Murder.
And, like, murder.
I feel like it's like a battle royale too, right? Where it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. No, I would not want to be in that. Now, this book was actually written for Image and Netflix. And so this is the first time I've seen anything about like Netflix getting involved in the comic industry at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'd watch it.
Do you think that would mean
I'd binge watch this for sure.
Do you think that means that they're going to make something out of this one?
I would think so. I would think, if they're investing into it, unless they're just trying to, dip their hands in other pockets and see what they can make and get involved with. And then also kind of, if they see it is a success, turning it into a show and that's already on their shelf.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of how successful this could be based simply on just that notion of like it would be a test run, like a trial run of like we're gonna make some of this and see how it's received before we really commit to telling this full story. That could come off as kind of cheap, and there's a lot of world building that happens in the first 6 issues, and admittedly I didn't think that all of the world building was done successfully in the book itself, so I think that's a hard translation into a show, and that you stand to lose people by making things confusing and attempting to world build super fast.
That's fair. And just saying that they could just tease and give you a little bit and then go, oh, well, this is not proving to be as successful. So never mind about the rest of the story. And then those of us that are like sucked in and like stoked on it. Now
it's like the one season
we have
curse.
Another series. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they just give it one season. I'm sorry, but sometimes you need additional seasons to really get into it.
Yeah.
Then whatever happened to Jupiter's Legacy? Didn't they make that into a show for like a hot second?
Was it a show or was it a movie?
I'm not sure.
But see, that's how memorable it was, right? And Johnny's saying that supposedly this is currently in development, so it might be something that we
just
see on
noticed
Netflix.
the little Netflix thing right there.
Oh.
Look at that.
I mean, if they want to throw Netflix money into comics, I think I'm totally happy with that. Like, let's throw all that money into the comic industry and
Throw it at
get more titles
indie
out.
artists.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Do you think that Madame Albany, so Madame Albany is kind of the one that's trying to take over all of, the magic order and have all the power. Do you think that her efforts justified her end goal? Like, was it worth eliminating everyone to say that, nothing was going to change? And
no, it's like the Thanos argument, right? Like you can get behind what Thanos is doing and understand it logically, that it's a resource crush and that ultimately it's for the good of everybody and blah, 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 blah. And you can justify it, but that like the justification doesn't justify the execution literally and metaphorically. And I think that's the same here. Like I get what you're going for. But like doing it on principle is not a good enough reason.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. Okay, no, now I kind of want to like fall back a little bit more onto that like Netflix casting thing. I want to do like some fan casts. Let's see. All right, so we've got Cordelia Moonstone, who is like does not care really about anything that's going on. She's just kind of living her life. Who would you think would be a good Cordelia?
Oh, who played the girl that played Jessica Jones? What's her name?
Oh, I was thinking her too.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she's got a perfect like nonchalant vibe. Jessica Jones is kind of similar. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Kristen Ritter. That's what Joey's got. Yeah, I could see that. She could pull that off.
Yeah.
I also think you could get what's her name from Parks and Rec, the one that plays is April, and she's just like
Aubrey Plaza.
Oh,
yeah. I think she could do like a deadpan, like doesn't really care kind of character.
I like that. I like Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Well, she's definitely got to start with Agatha all along. Already in the magic.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see her especially on like the escapism stuff, like just like whatever, and then she's gone.
Mm-hmm. But she has a that extra little bit, a little bit of magic.
Little sass.
All right, what do we think about Reagan? So Reagan is kind of like the son who, is kind of a butt kisser. I feel like.
Smoker, like he's quite a combination of things. So like anxiety, smoking, mansplaining, butt kissing. It's a lot.
The arrogance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Riding around a cloud. And what are you doing here? This thing? I'm shopping.
Right. Yeah, not understanding what shopping is. Like that's a flex.
That's a different level of arrogance altogether.
It kind of reminded me of Repo, the genetic opera, like the kids on that one, where you have like the one that wants to take over, and then you have like Paris Hilton's who like the dumb one that wants to just look pretty. It kind of gave me that vibe. All right. What are we doing for Gabriel? So like Gabriel is the son that is like, I am done with this family. I am done with, I just want to live a regular life, but there's no way you can't escape this. Outside of like how he looks like Eminem, it looks a little like Marshall Mathers from like back in the day.
He kind of looks like the guy who was in the OC, but then was Gordon on Gotham. He played Gordon on that show Gotham, the TV show.
That's like weirdly ringing a bell. Why can't I can't assign a face to that? Gotham.
I don't know. Come on, Johnny, do your magic.
Yeah, we're like waiting on Johnny. Well, until we get that, for you, Ashton.
This also feels like a weird reach, but you remember Emmett from the Twilight series?
Yes, I just watched that last night.
Okay, great. I assigned that person.
Yes. Okay. I could definitely see that for sure.
Oh, wait, here we go.
That level of There it is.
Oh,
that's perfect.
oh, that guy.
See?
Oh yeah, I could
Got
see
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's got that like just leave me alone attitude.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
See,
right, and then oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could see Emmett definitely playing the floating brother.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could pull
Mhm.
off that arrogance,
Yeah, that's
But
a great
not-
point.
but in a way that doesn't make you like ew, you know?
Yeah,
Like he it's that arrogance of
charismatic,
you're just
yeah.
an arrogant prick. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very true. Oh my god. Okay, what about Leonard? So Leonard is the father, long line of magicians, and he's, I kind of feel like trying to figure out like Secession style who he's gonna leave things to. Except it's more messy with magic.
I mean, there's William Dafoe.
You know what? Here's the thing. Like, it's a mob book,
Oh.
and so immediately De Niro.
Oh,
I feel like he's
see
too old.
that.
Oh, yeah, De Niro's up there these days.
Yeah, he'd be like the grandpa.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like that old lady right there in the photo.
Yeah, he's the old lady with the gun.
I feel like, for me, it's like something like the guy from Secession. Like, I don't know if you all have seen that, where it's like
Okay.
just this kind of strict kind of, I don't know, character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like tropes of that like really rich guy trying to like pass things down to his kids that don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Is that the same? Is that, I've never seen that show, but I feel like the face is telling me it's also the same guy that played Stryker in X-Men.
Brian Cox. And Johnny saying, yep, that's him.
Ah!
Okay.
Johnny with the answers.
Yay. I was like,
All
my
right.
comic movie brain. That's where it went.
What about Madame Albany? So she is
Ooh.
this kind of crazy Agatha kind of character who's just does not give any. Are we allowed to say any poops? Any? But then she's also got this like very BDSM-y kind of look. So it's like, I can't see like Agatha, that chick, doing that one. I just.
I think the actress that played Madame Satan in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which was also on Netflix, would knock that out of the park because it's similar thematically. Because Madame Satan's like trying to regain the throne in hell, and this is kind of same jam.
Same storyline.
Yeah.
So Michelle Rodriguez is what Johnny's saying.
That's a
right?
crazy choice.
Wow. I
could see that. I could see that one.
I can
want more
only
fight
think of
scenes,
her in Fast and Furious, though. Like,
she's a bad.
Like, I'm just trying to think of who could pull off the look.
She could pull off the look, the fierceness, and I'd expect more like kick-ass stuff happening, though. Not just stuff.
No, a lot more action, a lot of more action. Like she's gonna do it herself, basically.
Yeah.
Because instead she's got like this assassin, the Venetian.
Yeah.
Oh, Michelle Gomez, not Michelle Rodriguez.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
I kind of can already see Rodriguez though, so I guess both of them work. But yeah, so behind the scenes she's got the Venetian, which. Wow. She was from Doctor Who, right?
Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a great choice, actually.
Yeah, she was evil.
She's got like the same eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
And then
choice.
you've got this assassin. Now, if we knew nothing about the assassin, because we knew nothing, but we know nothing. But if you were to like, when you were picturing who this person might be, what were your thoughts?
Ooh.
Because I was just picturing, like, if you've seen the movie Trick or Treat, it's a horror movie, but there's this character that kind of comes out with like a mask and all of this, and he's kind of just got this air of like, holy crap, who is this? Like, who do you think, or who are you like kind of getting vibes from, like, as far as character wise?
Well, for me, the whole opening sequence is pretty twisted. So to have to be a really dark and messed up individual because, you know, using kids to do stuff is pretty dark.
Yeah.
So,
No, very true.
yeah.
Because yeah, he totally takes control of that kid, and oh god, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of dark and twisted.
Oh yeah. I mean, the character designs are great. Like they're meant to be like these very dynamic, strong, like strongly personified, I guess you could say. And I think a lot of that has to also do with the art. So let's kind of start bringing the art and the character design into this. So Olivier Coipel, I'm going to say, I believe that's how you would pronounce it because he's French. But he first started doing animation as an assistant, and he first started on the movie Balto, and then he worked on The Prince of Egypt and The Road to El Dorado.
Oh, wow.
From DreamWorks. And in the world of comics, he's known for his works on The House of M, Legion of Superheroes, and Thor. So he's got a very wide experience in like the genres that he's been in.
It's pretty legendary experience, if you ask me.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Prince of Egypt is just one of the best.
Yeah,
so good.
No, I definitely think so. And what did you feel about the character designs, like the way that he like had them moving and you know, just like the air about them? Do you feel that he was able to catch all the characters because they're so distinct, right? So it's like, do you feel that the art helped in making them completely different people? I think.
I agree.
I think the art was the more successful of the two, in my opinion, between the art and the writing, because I think it does a really good job of capturing the weight of the story. You know, everything is always dark shaded. There's not hardly any like bright sunshiny days. So the art definitely gives like the heft to this story. And yeah, to your point, Mia, I think the characters all have a very distinct design. And I think the way they look and the way they present captures also their essence, right? Like Cordelia is kind of this like sloppy mess in the way that she dresses. And also that's her personality. And Reagan is very put together and very well dressed and always like in these suit jacket get-ups. And Gabriel is like super normal, kind of washed out. And, you know, all of that kind of captures the way that he feels down on his luck and feels like everything blew up in his face. So I think the character designs tell as much of a story, if not more, than the writing itself does.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't like kind of see one versus the other, I guess. So it's kind of good to have that perspective of like, yeah, no, I like that. What are your thoughts on some of the artwork, Natasha?
I mean, Ashton really hit on a lot of those points. It's got that very noir feel to it. All the, you know, the darks and the shadows and the blending of those things. And then just the overall detail. I felt like this was almost like you were watching a movie, but it still had a fantasy element in the art to it, which was really cool. Like it was very dynamic in the how every panel like that. I mean, there's just so much going on there, and you can just feel it's not like just washed out. Like you can feel every part of each panel, and that was like really, really cool. Really drew you in to the story itself, even if you didn't, you know. I mean, obviously the words matter, but like that panel right there alone, like you are like drawn in. You can see what's going on. Like I feel like this is definitely this is why I want it to be a Netflix show, honestly. If they could pull any of this kind of thing into reality, that would be amazing.
Yeah. For me, a lot of it was actually the way that they portrayed like the spells, especially like the really crazy ones. Like like you were saying, Ashton, the cubes. Like if you were to sit there and tell an artist, like, okay, I want you to draw like the world collapsing in on itself, and it's just like that's such a interesting way to do it. Like I don't know, what did you guys think of some of the ways that they portrayed the actual like spells? Because there's that one, there's you know, walking into paintings, And then yeah, the overall the like time eater thing. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's graphic to say the least. It gives you an element of making you think and giving you a little stress and giving you a little like it makes you not get lost. It really sucks you in and, makes you also want to turn the page for some of those because that's a little panic. Like drowning is a huge fear of mine. Like all of those things. Like it's a lot. They really I think it translated beautifully the way they did that with the art. It really brought the story to life and death.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things that you mentioned, Natasha, was the like making you think element of it. And I think that was like most poignant for me when Leonard dies and the like monster that kills him is from a child's dream, and the Venetian explains what it would look like, but they don't show it to you, which so much more powerful because it explains it has all these like saliva-y mouths, like dripping mouths and teeth and all of these eyes and everything. And you're just left to figure out, what does that mean? What does that look like? And then you see the aftermath of it a few panels later. So between like seeing what would come of it without knowing what it actually was is crazy. And I know that's like kind of a cop-out because it's like non-art, but there's some power in that.
Yeah.
I think it's smart,
Yeah.
It's just because we can imagine like the worst things ever. Like we are the worst for ourselves. It's like Signs. We didn't need to see the monster until the end, right? They kind of ruined it. Like that's like my big example. Was there like a moment in the art that like really stood out to you that you were like, oh wow, I really like this panel. This is like whether it's emotion or kind of like. And Natasha's got to find it.
I'm gonna find it.
I know I should have marked mine too.
I'm like that one was too graphic, but I mean this one.
They're too graphic as the
I'm
beginning of
like
number 3.
Like that's pretty powerful. I turned off the blur. I'll see you see it.
Oh yeah.
Trying to cover up what's happening. Like that, like there's just, I mean, you can kind of see what's going on there, but it's just such a powerful moment and a powerful everything there. And it's just really cool. I just like the dimensions, the colors, just all the little little details of it. That's just one for me. There's a lot in this book, which is,
oh yeah, there really are.
Pretty
cool. I will say the beginning of 3.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're even allowed to show. We're gonna just do this. But it was like I got on that and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
When did this become this? Johnny, what have you given us to read? I think, go ahead.
Mine was like in the first issue at Eddie's funeral when Madame Albany and like all of her goons show up. And it's just like that splash page of them and they're all like standing behind her, like this like Beyonce moment. It was so powerful the way they just like roll up to this funeral. They don't feel bad about anything. Like that could have been the end of the issue. Like it keeps, this happens like halfway through the issue. Like plenty more happens after this, but it was such like a power move that I was like, that could have been the end of this. And you've just been like, dang, this is who we're up against. Cause they just look so different from the good guys that you're like,
yeah,
this is gonna be a tough one.
the good guys.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was really effective. I loved it, but we're getting to a time where I should ask you both your final thoughts. All right, so this is the part where I ask you to let me know what you would say to someone who comes up to you in a comic book shop and is like, I don't know what I want to read, but I like magic.
So you're looking for a Rex. A Rex here. Rex here or final thoughts? Which one?
Well, final thought. Like what?
Okay.
How would you describe this to someone? Like how would you?
Well, the definite, the now you see me kind of vibe with a magical supernatural element. Not like supernatural to show, but definitely has a lot of dark and twisted moments. And just if you appreciate great noir kind of artistry and graphic in the graphic novel title, and just stuff that will shock and awe you and keep you wondering and wanting to turn the page, this is probably for you.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, I guess like your dad's version of what magicians are, right? This is like,
no. Yeah.
What about you, Ashton?
Yeah, it's definitely much more of a heavy hitter in terms of magic, so I would certainly caution people to that. I think probably the first thing I would say is that the art is really great. The art really pulls this along and gets you thinking, and is really just like solid classic noir art, as Natasha pointed out. I think for me, I didn't think the writing was as successful as I wanted it to be. I thought it got really bogged down in the world building, and some of the dialogue felt really stilted to me because they were trying to like explain what these terms were and what these magic words meant, like while the story was moving forward. And so in certain places, it felt very much like a cable cop drama where they're like force feeding you more as you go through it. But I'll say all of that with the caveat of, like I said in the beginning, fantasy is not my preferred trope. So I think maybe some of this didn't land on me as well as it would land for someone who does enjoy fantasy.
Oh, that was very interesting, actually. That was a great perspective. All right. Well, what would you suggest then? If someone was like looking for something that's like this, so someone who's already read this and is looking for something more, what titles would you then suggest for them? For me, I'll go ahead and I'll pick on myself first for this one.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm going to go with The Magicians from Lev Grossman, not Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder. I accidentally put an S instead of a V when I was looking it up, and I was like, there's no way he wrote this. And I go back and I was like, oh, wrong letter. Okay, big difference. But he wrote a book called The Magicians. It's basically about a secret college of magic, and now it's a comic book. So I definitely would recommend that one. Not by the guy from Tropic Thunder.
That's amazing.
What about you? We'll go ahead and go with Natasha.
Mine is going to be Witches by Scott Snyder. It has a lot of supernatural undertones to it, and it also has storylines of like a secret society, a secret, hidden from the mainstream world kind of environment, and also like some of those noir undertones. So that is definitely my recommendation.
Those are really good. Ashton?
Mine is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I don't feel like needs too much explanation, but it's got the similar, like the witches kind of moving in secret, but also living amongst everyday people and shadowy organizations and someone trying to take control of the whole dang thing.
It's kind of neat having one that's not set in a school. I feel like there's a lot of things that are like set in schools, like with magic and stuff like that, the Harry Potter thing. So I think this is kind of a cool, more like Zatanna kind of thing. I don't know. It was different. All right. Well, for everyone watching, this is your reminder to pick up the Magic Order at your friendly local comic shop. And to find a comic shop near you, simply head on over to comicshoplocator.com. And before we get out of here, I want to see if either of you had some things that you'd like to tell us about that you're doing or what's coming up. I'll start with Ashton because I'm sure she has some free comic book day news.
Yay!
Okay. So I guess it's kind of the thing I want to lead with is on Thursday, we'll be announcing our commemorative artist for Free Comic Book Day 2025. So every year we commission a comic book artist to create a one-of-a-kind design for Free Comic Book Day to commemorate that year's event. And we'll put it on a poster, we'll put it on a t-shirt, we'll put it on a sticker. You can put that sticker wherever you want to. And I'm very excited about this year's artist. He is a fan favorite for sure. So you can find that on the Free Comic Book Day website. It'll also be on our Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And Twitter. I knew I was forgetting one. Yeah, I think I got it now. Anyway, come hang out with me at Free Comic Book Day everywhere.
And remind everyone, what day is Free Comic Book Day in the next year?
May 3rd at your local comic shop.
Put that on your calendars. Get ready, because how many new titles are there?
46.
Amazing.
That's a lot.
Mhm.
That's a lot. This is gonna be good.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a good year. What about you, Natasha? What do you got going on?
Well, turning 45 on Thursday. I mentioned that already.
Woo!
I've already
Woo!
closed out. I just had my last Comic Con of the season, of the year, and that was Ocean City Comic Con, and that was fantastic. Shout out to everybody that stopped by my table, said hi, got prints, stickers, whatever. Took a selfie with me. You can find me and any of that information at cannondollx.com or at cannondollx at everything. So I'm the only Cannondollx. You can just Google it. And find me. My next event is January 11th, so in 2025, and I'm hosting the Nerd Prom by Transcendent Events in downtown Baltimore. So very excited. Great way to kick off 2025 is having a Nerd Prom. So I can't wait.
What is the Nerd Prom? That sounds so
Nerd
cool.
Prom. Yeah.
What,
It's
like,
super
does everyone just
awesome.
get dressed up and it's like
Everyone gets dressed up. There's music, there's karaoke. I host the cosplay contest. There is an awesome prom photo booth. There's always themed drinks. This year it's the theme is the snowball, like from Stranger Things. So Hawkins, middle school, high school, whatever it is. So that should be, so it's like all 80s theme. So yeah, Transcendent Events is pretty epic with their themes. I just did a Nerdpocalypse last month, and that was super, super fun. Yeah.
These are really cool. Oh, there you go. The snowball.
There you go. Snowball.
Awesome.
Yeah. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I think we need more of those.
It's super fun.
Because that's better than the real prom, I think. Like, totally better.
And that's the idea. Now it's a chance for all of us nerds to get dressed up and have a good time. And everyone's a nerd. So, there's no mean girl scenario happening.
Right.
I love it.
It's great. Yeah. And the karaoke is super fun. The cosplay contest is always super fun. It's actually, the winners are the Royal Prom, prom court. Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a good time.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I love that. Aw, yay. And so if anyone's wanting to go to a nerd prom, because you didn't go to your first one.
Right? Exactly. Or go to a better one. Have a wonderful do-over.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. And then for me, I actually have a convention coming up in LA in January, which I'm trying to think if I can announce it yet or not. It's a gaming convention, so I'm really excited. I got to put together some gaming cosplays. So yeah, that's where you will see me in the new year. Other than that, you can find me on all my social media, which is Anemia official. Natasha, did you give your handles?
I did. It didn't go up though.
Okay.
There
we go.
Hey.
Well, thank you all for joining me. This was so much fun. I love getting to talk to you guys. I miss you.
I miss you. I'm so glad we did sweaters.
Yeah, this is so cool. It was meant to be. It was, we all just same thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Yay.
Yay. Well, thank you all for watching. And I want to say, if you have a graphic novel that you'd like us to talk about, leave a comment below and your choice could be picked for a future episode. This is also your reminder to follow us at Previews World and Free Comic Book Day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And from all of us here at the panel, we wish you a happy holiday. And remember, heroes are a dime a dozen, but comic fans are priceless. We'll see you in the next new year. Do you have a suggestion for a graphic novel that you'd like to see discussed on the panel? Leave us a comment and your choice could be picked for a future episode.